watch 1,000 hours of Hallmark video and write a script. Have you seen that?
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna send it. It's too good. You can look at it later, but I just sent it. So.
Hey Jordan, I sent you a text. Look at it.
Oh, I did, and I was confused. So I meant to question mark it. I'm putting question mark on it now.
Okay.
Are we there yet?
Let me pop a jelly bean. And this is when we start recording.
Yep.
Is that a
We've been recording for like the last 30 seconds, y'all.
Oh, sweet.
A jelly bean, huh?
Starburst, nondescript flavored candy jelly beans.
Non-specific name brand delicious
I like how you
treat.
said the name at the end of that.
No, it's not Jelly Bellies.
Yeah,
Jelly Bellies are a different brand. Also, don't sue us. So can we start over? Okay. Hi, everybody.
Big mood.
This is the mood of today. It is going well, guys. Okay. Thank you for joining us for these crazy shenanigans and random candy every so often. Welcome to this session of The Keep. We are glad that you have joined us for our adventure today. Before we jump into the adventure itself, we do have a couple of announcements to get through, so let's dive into those. First off, as always, we are... Yay, welcome back. We're bringing awareness for Take This, which is an awesome nonprofit organization that is dedicated to decreasing the stigma of mental health issues in the gaming community, as well as raising support and providing, what's the word that I am looking for? Providing tools to help accommodate the difficulties with mental health in those spaces. So if you can, check them out on social media. If you can donate, please do. If you can't, at least spread the word, share the links. They do awesome, much needed work. Also on social media, you should check us out on our Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok pages. We are The Keep RPG across all forums. If you are watching on our Twitch channel, you should totally check out our YouTube for more content and all the VODs from our channel. If you're on the YouTube, come find us at Twitch in the chat. Join us when we stream on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central Time. We would love to see you there. Also streaming throughout the week is our co-host, Dinner and a Game, which are another awesome group of streamers who are doing some really cool things lately. They've had a little bit of a revamp for their channel, and you should totally check them out. Getting through it, guys.
You can do it, I believe in you.
Two other things really to put on your radar are some of the channels of our various crew, cast, peoples here. Garrett and Jay, y'all want to take a brief minute to talk about Night Shift Night and the Pandaverse?
You first. I'm doing a thing.
Well, yeah, so twitch.tv/thepandaverse. Do a lot of Friday nights. We do alpha and beta testing of various video games, early access. I show off how incredibly terrible I am at shooting things, and it's a lot of fun to hang out with people in the chat and let them laugh at my ridiculousness. And then Saturday nights, we also play a variety of games, from Flying Dragons to RPGs to running around and getting shot in the head, because that's apparently what I do as well. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Did a super alpha test the other night and actually had to have Wesley come in and explain to me what things did, because I don't know things. It was pretty funny. So yeah, woo!
Jay doesn't understand that there are more than 3 types of firearms in the world in their names and the attachments that go on them. This is a very in-depth game.
This was super
Jay
in-depth.
does not have the knowledge for it.
Jay was not ready. So yeah, what about you, Garrett?
I am that guy who does the things. Sorry, I'm distracted. I do stuff. I do things. And last week I was like, hey, we did chest plates and things, and I made more progress. And I'm literally trying to start uploading that video like right now. That's why I was stalling it. Because I talked about it a week ago and I didn't hardly work on it because I procrastinated, which is bad. Don't do that. Don't be like me. Learn from my lesson. This is your brain on procrastination. Smack. Yeah. Okay.
Woo!
All right, I'm almost done.
So while Garrett finishes that, you should definitely check out his channel, which is Night Shift Night on YouTube. He has some pretty awesome content that he posts on a infrequent but pretty awesome basis. So
I got plans for a new build in the future that's, let's just say it's a pretty big deal. That's your hint, and it's not that good of a hint.
that is okay. I'm sure we will find it when you are ready.
Yay.
I believe that's all of our announcements.
Oh God!
And it is time to jump into our session for today.
We're all gonna die. Yep.
Yay!
So-
Wait, hold on. That's the wrong.
Not everybody.
Except for Howard and Brenda, who are safe.
We're gonna die. They're at a dinner party. How nice.
Although Brenda keeps avoiding her aunt's Rye may die too.
No, she may wish she was there.
We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. It's not like family is a strong driving force with opinions about what people should do or anything.
Never.
Never. Without further ado, before we start hitting too close to home, jumping into our recap. When last we left our heroes, after narrowly averting the kidnapping of the Oracle of Bahamut, young Vanera, the party split in hopes of gaining some advantage in the developing situation here in Dragenthrone on Denegon, Soliux's homeworld. You split into three or four basic groups. Soliux, Kazator, and Doran headed into Dragon's Heart, the sacred ground, the highest temple of the city. Soliux went to have a telling conversation with Desmond, where he was saying everything Desmond was wanting to hear, and yet in fact keeping with the truth also. It was some pretty amazing double speak happening. He spoke with Desmond's aide, Aura, about gaining some supplies, particularly some leather armor, which she readily volunteered to take Soliux's measurements for and get that prepared for him.
That's
And in addition to offering to assist if anything else he may need while he was here at home. Kazator and Doran, having escorted Soliux to that meeting, were invited to travel with the Valets, and Vincent led them to this waiting room where they got to see some of the interactions and specifically the division between the valets and bodyguards and the squires who were in training to become knights of Bahamut here in Dragenthrone. Kazator had an interesting conversation with one golden dragonborn, Amiran Ignatoris. Intending to play him for a fool, Amiran quickly took offense and tensions rose as Kazator spoke to the arrogant attitude of the squires. Amiran ultimately called the guards, and Kazator and Doran had to dimension door out, with Doran leaving a lasting impression in the room.
I can't wait for the feast of whatever, the strength of contest. It's gonna be good.
Val had returned to Gertie's shop to speak with her and with Sarai, and had observed a raid being enacted on that very shop. Val found after the raid itself had finished and everybody had emerged from their hiding, He found the dragonborn shopkeeper, this wizened old lady, still in very poor condition, being talked at by Madame Alina Kramer, who noted that Gertie needed to pay a significant fine to reopen her shop with the correct charter. After the half-elven official left, Val assisted with healing Gertie. He traded for some health potions and a few choice items that Harker had managed to salvage before the raid took place. He learned the name of the watch captain who led the attack, one Brenton Ignatoris. And Gertie also provided some information about other shops and locations that the party can use now that her shop has been raided. Ryan Halberd had gone off with Venera to the chapel, an older sanctum that is loosely affiliated with the library. Ryan Halberd assisted in a successful ritual to break the curse that had been placed on the young oracle. After saying their goodbyes and a little bit of an emotional scene, Ryan Halberd stopped by the library to refresh some of Rye's supplies, running into the aunts along the way, Auntie Key and Aunt Lonnie, who invited them along to a family dinner. Halberd also gained some additional insight on the tiefling wizard, along with an unsettling revelation about an archivist at the library. We are going to pick up... We're going to pick up with Kazator and Doran.
Yes!
So, setting the scene. Kazator and Doran, you have just dimension doored out of the room. You have the guards were called in behind you. You had heard the stomping of feet. You had let one fly, Doran.
Hey-o.
And emerge with a very, very faint scent trailing after you through the dimension door. You are you're partially on the way out of Dragon's Heart, which is this district in the city. You know you've got about a half mile to get to any of the gates, and behind you, as you emerge from the dimension door, you can still hear distantly the shouting and the stamp of boots. You're hearing windows being flung open, balcony doors being flung open, and a whistle being passed around of intruders in the district. Find them, seize them. Specifically being shouted very prominently by young Amirin, directing the guards to find you. For this next section, we're going to go ahead and enter a little bit of a skill challenge.
Lord. Oh, Lord.
Literally cannot leave you.
I know this is a terrible time, but I forgot to make an announcement. I'd like to announce that I am stalling because I am concerned about the repercussions of my actions, so I will now filibuster.
This is not quite how it
By
works.
singing every song from every musical line. No.
Oh, God.
Ooh. Tell you what, if you start with Hamilton, I will totally join in on the first act. Moving past the musical theater nerdery. So skill challenge. The way this is going to work is you guys are going to use any of the skills you are proficient with and apply them to this situation. You know that you are being sought after, and you can do pretty much anything you can think of that is within your proficiency to try to escape. As y'all are describing what you're going to do, you're either going to find some place to hunker down and hide, or to get out of the district and escape, or something else that y'all can think of that I haven't yet. So you have to get 5 successes before you get 3 failures.
Love them.
So it's of moderate difficulty.
It's a
And
mark.
as y'all are describing what you're going to be doing,
Right.
as y'all are describing what you're going to be doing, I will be setting the DC and narrating the adventure as it unfolds. So, you know you have just a little bit of breathing room. Sound is traveling quickly, others are being alerted, but the main bulk of the guard are 5 or so behind you from where you had dimension doored from. Close enough to hear. You know the alarm is being raised, but you've got maybe a minute to breathe and plan.
Can you describe the area we're in again, real quick, for people who are dumb?
You are in a little side alley off of a main road. There are people on the road. You can see where the alley goes off deeper into the shadows. You don't know where it leads.
And this is like in the city streets, you mean?
City streets, yes. This is the main temple district. You know there's a wall around the district. You had to go through a gate to get in. You imagine if you want to try and exit through the gate, getting there sooner rather than later is probably going to be a little bit more helpful. The later you push it, the more they're going to be on guard, unless you just want to hunker down and hide in the district itself. Totally an option. You can see there are civilians, there are priests that are walking along the streets, there are a couple of...
First thing I'm going to want to do is take my blue cloak off and swap it for the green one that I have so I don't look like the same person.
Okay. So you go
that's
ahead.
Step one.
That's your first step. Jordan, you're going to be able to take an action too, and then at that point we're going to go ahead and start rolling initiative just to figure out how things are going to go in what order.
Oy vey.
Okay. So I suppose my initial action will be disguise self.
Okay.
I will make myself also a dwarf in similar garb to what Doran changes into.
Okay. Good deal. So you have these two dwarfs in this sort of silver and green garb that are walking along the city. As you step out into the main thoroughfare and start walking along, you notice pretty quickly that your color scheme is a little out of place.
Also, I think that thing had a hood. I would have put that up and made sure my helmet was on so my face is more obscured.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and we'll roll initiative at this point and get this thing started.
Oh my gosh. This is gonna be amazing. Let's go.
This is fine.
Oh, fecal. That's what I get for not looking and taking a swig.
Yeah, I feel like both of us being high or both of us being low would have been good because then we would have been acting like roughly together. But I feel like at this point we are on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Well, after the first,
Yeah.
I got a natural 1.
Oh no, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, you got it out of the way.
So with your dexterity bonus, your initiative count is going to be
That is a 3. My initiative is 2.
3. Okay. Kazator?
24.
Oh dang.
Okay. Kazator, you are going to go first. So you hear in this area are being alerted. You're hearing a ruckus that's being caused in the main temple behind you. You know you've got about a half a mile to get to the wall.
Yep.
What are you doing? You are currently disguised as a dwarf.
Half mile. Perfect. So half mile of the wall. So, okay, when you first said this, I thought we were still inside the outer wall of the actual temple, but we're just in the temple district.
You're in the temple district. Your dimension door took you outside of the main temple itself, but not very far. You're not far off of the temple grounds.
We're outside the wall of the temple, inside the temple district city. And remind me, what is directly outside the temple district?
Outside of the Dragon's Heart.
Maps.
Yes.
Maps are
On the
great.
northern side is the Bastion Ward, and on the southern side, the southern gates out of this district are going to lead you to the River District.
And we came in through
the River District.
River District. Yeah, okay. So that's
is
the
the
wall that
river?
we're closest to, the half mile?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are those two districts? Are they just like different neighborhoods of the city, or like is there
Essentially,
something- Okay.
when you
I didn't know.
left to get the horses to head out to the city, you left through the Bastion Ward, which is it's much more militarily minded. There's a lot of training grounds there. It's a lot of production for the nightly orders. 4 out of the 5 nightly orders have their headquarters in the Bastion Ward. Solix may or may not have mentioned that at some point. I'm just going to go ahead and give y'all that one. You took the horses around to the city, and when you made your grand entrance, you had much more of a procession and came and paraded up through the river district to enter into the Dragon's Heart itself.
We went all the way around the city to come in from, go
Not
out
all
one
the way.
way.
You went about a third of the way around the city.
Oh, okay. You made it sound like they were on polar ends of the city.
Okay, so Dragon's Heart is set up and in the mountains here, right? So there's a little curve, and there's the wall here. Coming up here is the Bastion Ward. Down here is the River District, and there's a whole slew of other districts in the city. They just don't. They aren't right next to the Dragon's Heart itself. There's no entry from those.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think so. If not, then we'll suffer.
I will send you the map in our text thread again, so you can get a little bit of a better idea of how it looks. Does that work?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. I think
This
this should
is
be,
appreciated.
yeah, I think this should be enough info to get us rolling. Literally. First thing I'm gonna do is, because we're in an alleyway. Let's pop out Jojo and send him up, and I think based on his stat sheet, he can communicate with me in common with equal to my intelligence. So I'm not gonna do the looking through his eyes so that I can maintain my own visual to keep movement, but I'm gonna get him to give me a literal bird's eye view of, give me a maze through the city that's not a straight line, but not overly time consuming.
Okay. So what you're trying to do with this is you're trying to map out a path, essentially.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Cool.
Go ahead and make a survival check with JoJo's stats.
Okay. So that's just gonna be intelligence for him.
Yes.
Okay. I should have done something different. Okay, it's gonna be great. Cool.
Remember, the goal of the skill challenge is to think creatively about things that you know you're good at and apply them to the situation to try and help in
I was thinking
some way.
perception, which both of us are good at, but I understand why you went survival, and I'll think more critically next time.
Okay. I do have suggestions if y'all get stumped too. Just in case.
Lauren,
Yes.
survival is wisdom.
Is it wisdom?
I don't know if that matters for this, but I just.
It won't for the roll,
Oh,
but it's survival. I mean,
I was trying to help out JoJo.
it technically will help a tiny bit.
You know what? Sure, we'll take it for the wisdom. So for getting a sense of how things are going rather than the intellectual layout of the city itself.
Okay, so that's an 11.
An 11. Okay. So you're sending JoJo up, and you are trying to get him to get this sense of the city itself and the roads that you may take, and the quickness with which you're trying to do this is just a little bit off-putting. You can't quite figure out how to make it all connect and make sense with your current location and where you want to go. That is your first failure.
Ouch. I really don't want to have to break them out
We
of
are
jail.
screwed, and we're gonna
Really
get
don't want to
arrested.
break
Yeah,
them
this
out
is
of
not
jail.
going to go well.
You won't be.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, guys. Love you.
Listen, I told you guys, you're done. Enjoy the city. What do? Pick a fight.
Yep.
Bicep.
At this point, you hear the whistling and the communicating of the guards have hit a certain pattern that is starting to be recognizable to you. You get the sense that an alarm is being sent out, and from what you can tell, the sound is spreading and getting a little bit ahead of where you're at. Doran, what are you doing? So you're walking. Kazator has just sent out JoJo. He's got trying to get a sense of what's happening. What are you trying to do?
The skills I'm particularly good at are not super helpful here right now.
That is okay. If you want to try and pick one, I have some ideas for you.
Cool. Are there shops around?
Yeah, well, some shops, some houses. You see a couple that are selling particularly like holy symbols or, a couple of stalls that are advertising water that's been blessed by various priests. There's apparently some sort of notoriety in how this functions, advertising various services or guidance from Bahamut himself. There's a definite like holy bent to the shops and vendors in this section of the city. You get the sense that they probably have to in order to maintain the charter to work in this particular district. But yes, there are shops. Shops, houses, places of business.
That's potentially helpful. I was gonna try and use part of my background to help me, the guild artisan thing, to talk to a store owner.
Okay.
Just so we could, because the guards they're coming up, they're looking for us, right?
You don't see any guards yet. You're hearing the ruckus back from where you had left, and you're hearing the alarm that is being sent and is being picked up through the entirety of this district. You're not seeing guards yet.
What about where the smithies are? Are they close to where we are?
You'll get a number of smiths closer to the Bastion Ward, or if you wanted to head towards the River District, the Bull's Head Plaza, where Gertie's shop is, and Bilgum's Blacksmithery and Betty's Bigger Better Blacksmithery are both located in the River District.
We're both dwarves, or at least we look like we're both dwarves. I want to see if I can go there and give the air of looking like I'm interested in getting some work done, getting some business going. So I want to use persuasion to...
Okay, so you're entering a shop. Are you specifically looking for a smith, or are you just going into a random shop? Because a lot of the blacksmiths are not in this particular ward. You can maybe search out and try and find one.
Well then, I want to. See, I was trying to think outside the box, and I feel like it's falling apart.
You're good. You have a good train of thought here. I'm just clarifying what you want to do.
I like the box. It's safe and comfy inside. I want to go and I want to find like a smith and make it look like we're business people who are trying to get materials for a large job. So we're looking for the smith.
Okay, so you go a little ways down the street. You're moving at a pretty brisk pace. You're noticing that there's lots of activity on the roads now, that other people are coming out and seeing what's going on. A little ways down, you do manage to find a smith. You head on in, dragging Kazator along with you, and you find the blacksmith. Go ahead and make a deception check for me, to try and be figuring out this dynamic.
And I would have, for context, I would have told Dwarfator what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no. Assuming like y'all are on the same page as this, you're working as a team, you're communicating with each other. Like that is the underlying assumption.
Yeah. God, I'm not good at deception.
It turns into is just blank a Tor.
A Tor, right?
That's a total of 13.
13. Okay. So you go in. You're talking to this. You start talking to the shopkeeper. You're explaining the situation, and he's looking at you, and there's a little bit of skepticism in there, but as you're going on and you're using the terminology, you get the sense that he knows something's not quite right, but he's letting it slide, and he says, "Oh yeah, no, sure, you can go and check out the stock in the back. Come back when you've got your decision made." So he gestures you through. You can head on through the shop to some of the.
Have a hiding spot.
You have a hiding spot for now.
And also, I will look around and see if this guy has anything useful. Because if I can, I'll come back and legit do business with him.
We'll get to that in just a minute. So we'll go ahead and mark that as your first success.
Hey, we succeeded.
Back to the top of the order, Kazator, what are you doing at this point? You've been led through the shop. You're in a back alley now. As you are going through the shop, there is a little bit of decent quality goods that you can see, Doran. Mostly mundane. You're not finding anything particularly magical in nature. A couple of ritual knives.
So it's all mild steel, no 1095, nothing good.
Essentially. It's decent quality, but it is mostly ritual knives, some very fancy and showy pieces that probably won't really stand up for a whole lot, and a couple that are higher quality that are a little bit simpler that might be workable for something.
Like those cheap swords you find on like Amazon or whatever.
Or like essentially. Kazator, you've been led through this shop. You're in a side alley now. You can see it stretching ahead of you. There are a couple of offshoots, and you can see it makes a turn deeper into what looks like a residential area, a couple 100 feet ahead. It's dimly lit back here. What are you doing?
Hello?
You're muted.
You're muted.
I was gonna say I couldn't hear anything, and I thought my phone was
I
going.
said I'm thinking.
If you want to just stay and not try for anything, it's holding. You can. That's an option.
Oh, okay. I think I will. I will go ahead and. Can I make a check to see if I can see any way onto roofs? Any ladders, ropes?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay. Okay. Uh, 26.
26.
Hey.
That is a success. So that's 2 successes so far. You are finding several ways. There are a couple of small stairways that are actually built into some of the larger houses that lead up to second story, and you can see ladders going up from there from the little like outside balcony to roofs. There are a couple of ladders that are essentially carved into some of the houses back here that lead up to roofs. It seems like there's this particular part of the district on this side of the wall here. While there are some pitched roofs with various attic spaces under them, a number of the shop roofs are somewhat more level that you are able to traverse a little bit more easily. So you start heading up, climbing up to the roof line?
Yes.
Okay, so you and Doran start heading up to the roof line. At this point, you are seeing guards that are patrolling briskly in pairs. From your perspective up here, you can see that they are pouring from the main temple district itself, and that they are coming closer to your location, but not in imminent danger just yet. You're catching every so often words thrown around: dwarf, man, older, together. So you get the sense that some disguise element was probably beneficial. We'll see how well it plays out as we go on. Doran, you two are up on the roofs now. What are y'all doing?
What's on the roofs? Is it just like, is there anything around, or are we just looking at shingles?
Some shingles, some in this particular area, it's mostly residential. You're finding some clotheslines. There are a couple of civilians and individuals who are up here. Some of them are calling to the guards saying, hey, what's up? What's going on? Some of them are like, hey, tell us the news. Some of them are sort of heckling and a little bit less friendly. Not anything overt, not just a little bit more of the sarcastic, cynical, yeah, you look real good down there. What's going on? So there are some people, there are some clotheslines, there are some gardens and some supplies, some storage areas that have been built on the roof. It's like another living space for some of these people.
Okay, would there be a way around where we could hide? Well, I don't know. Do we want to hide or do we want to run, my dude? Hello?
Take
Are
your
you
pick.
muted?
No, I'm just thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm thinking if there's a storage area, we could maybe get in and have another quick hiding spot and change disguises again. I think that's what we would do.
Okay.
I like that idea. So,
Make a stealth check.
okay. I was hoping I could, okay, well. Oh, what dice do I choose? I choose this one and I roll it.
Nice and true.
Hey, that's a natural 20.
Hey.
Woo! Natural 20s count as 2 successes.
Hey.
Yay!
It'll be a
The inverse is
one,
also
yeah.
true. Natural 1s do count as 2 failures, so keep that in mind moving forward.
That's awful.
But that puts you up at 4 successes. So
Wonderful.
y'all are, you managed to find a little bit more of a secluded, slightly run down storage shed, essentially, that's been built onto the corner of one of these roofs. You can see that it is, there's like a really cheap lock on it that's, you investigate a little bit more closely and you're like, oh, it's already rusted, it's broken, it just had been set so it looked like it had been locked and it just wasn't. So you quickly open it up and you have a hiding space. You bought yourself a little bit of time to think or talk as you are still hearing the patrols around you. Kazator, top of the order, what are you doing?
After we
mentioned
the lock, is this a solid door or gated, or what are we inside?
It's wooden. So wooden construction, the walls look pretty decently set together, if a little bit old and slightly run down. So you can see where there has been some slight warping. It has created gaps that you can see through. It is otherwise fairly solid construction, so it's pretty dark inside, and the sound from outside is muffled at this point.
Okay. I would I would like to peek through one of the gaps at the where the lock was, and just minor illusion another lock on it.
Okay. Roll an Arcana check for me.
and real quick point.
I love that we keep going. I want to roll this. I'll do this. Yeah. Lauren's like, roll something completely different. You're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. 19.
19. Okay. So you use your spell. You can't, from the inside, you can't see the effect that it has, but you visualize it in your mind, and as you're casting the spell, you release your magic. You're pretty sure you've got a pretty solid handle on what's happening. Now,
Yeah,
you spend...
like a solid good lock, right?
You can't see it. It's on the outside, and y'all are on the inside, but Kazator is
Well, that's me talking to him.
is pretty confident in his skills and what he's done here. So you spend some time hunkering down, and the sound of the patrols is going louder. You hear they're now moving past you, and around you there are people talking to the guards, and you can pretty clearly hear them and their conversations at this point. There's apparently guards that are patrolling in pairs, and also guards that are being sent to warn individuals, sort of as criers in the street, saying, "Be on the lookout! Wanted fugitives, a dwarf and a man traveling together." Giving basic description of what you look like and how you were last seen. You even hear a couple of heavy footfalls coming up onto the roofs around you. You have a moment of panic as one of them approaches and walks past you, not disturbing your hiding spot. It seems like you have managed to succeed in your 5 checks. Woo! You have managed to hide and hunker down. Now, the search goes on for quite a while.
I would like to point out that we just played pen and paper version of Lose Stars in Grand Theft Auto.
Yep.
So the search goes on for quite a while, but it does ultimately die down within about 2.5 hours. You feel like things are pretty quiet throughout the street. You feel like it's getting cooler. The sun is going down. And with Dragonheart being slightly elevated within the city, it is colder than what you would have expected. It's as it's starting to get dark, you feel like the search has died down enough that you feel like it's safe to emerge. So we will pause with y'all for a moment and jump over to Val.
No!
Val,
Yes.
It is getting dark. You have done what you can at Gertie's shop. What are you doing for the rest of the evening? Describe to me how things are going.
Panicking. So once I made sure Gertie's, set up, safe, she's feeling better. Thank you, 6th level spells. I'm going to wait till not quite the sun has fully set, but it's getting darker. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually going to I'll leave a note with Gertie for the rest of my crazies and see in case they come back.
Hurtful but valid.
Yeah. Deny it. And then I will make my way actually out of the city.
Okay. One thing to note, you had performed this major healing power with Gertie, and the reception to that was generally of, "Oh my goodness, you've performed a miracle. This is amazing."
What? Like by
and
who?
so
Like who?
The civilians that were helping in the shop and the medic, the person.
I thought you were
been
talking
performing
about
the first
Gertie,
aid.
and I'm sitting there going, "That woman's lived long enough. She should have seen this already."
Gertie hears this and just sort of raises an eyebrow, but doesn't actually say anything to negate it. You would guess there's probably some use that she can find for this.
Fair enough.
So you head out of the city, and it takes a little bit because your Gertie's shop is in the Bull's Head Plaza in the River District, and you've got a little ways to go to get out of the city. Do you know what part of the city you want to head out of? Are you heading more towards the harbor and the lighthouses? Are you heading north out of the city, up closer towards the mountain range, or south where you had originally first met Asha, where you had landed in the city itself?
Which would honestly be closer, north or south? The northern or southern exit for me?
Northern.
All right, we'll head that way.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm looking for is just to make this go a little quicker. Is I'm looking for a secluded grove of trees where I can look up and see the moon, but not going to be stumbled on by just any random passerby. What is the
Passerby is the word there.
Walker buyer.
Words are hard. English is harder.
It's a brother of Walker the Texas Ranger. It's the Walker buyer.
He purchases all Walker's guns.
That's when he goes to the store for groceries.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, so you head on out of the city, and by the time you find it, It is full dark. The moon is out. It is not a full moon. It is a waning moon, a waning quarter moon.
Cool beans. So, finding a grove and just once again making sure everything's looking good. I am actually going to set my weapons down on the ground.
Okay.
I'm going to take off everything I'm carrying, put it in and set it out. My pack, everything, just kind of set it off to the side.
Make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Oh, balls.
Do it.
Choose life.
Oh, that's not bad. You said wisdom?
Yeah.
That is a 26.
26. Okay. As you're laying your weapons down, you look at for a moment at the sword, and you're like, does it really need to leave my person? I wouldn't want anybody to just come and steal it. That'd be awful. But no, there's nobody around. It's fine. It's probably fine. It's fine. You lay it down.
Yeah.
It's not far away.
Yeah, it's like literally right at my feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I will actually take off my armor. Set it off to the side.
He's going straight.
The thought had occurred. No, I am going to Val is going to disrobe down to his pants, which was all he take off his boots, his socks, and this was all he had when he escaped his captors and lived in the Feywild for that time period.
You haven't gotten new pants yet?
You know, I mean, they're different pants than the Feywild, but all he had on were pants.
I was just wanting to double check.
Oh, by the way, that video uploaded.
Yeah. So,
Short.
he's gonna pull out his holy symbol and sit down on the ground and lay it out, and he's going to lay his the Paragon's yoke on one side and his scimitar on the other, and then take his shield and put it above the two, so it kind of makes like a pyramid type shape.
Okay. What's your passive perception? 19, is that right?
18 now.
18. It's still high enough. As you disrobe and you're making this preparation, setting things out in front of you, something in the moonlight catches your eye. You hadn't seen them before. You'd felt them. But you look at your hands, your wrists. There are definite visible signs of what looks like twine almost, some thin, very, very thin, fine thread.
Almost like fishing line type look.
Very much like fishing line, yes, of that sort of.
Oh God, bro!
It's not raised at all. You run your hand over it, and your skin feels the same, except perhaps exceptionally smooth.
Sick and smooth. It's that conditioner I use. Let me tell you.
Gotta moisturize.
There you go. Is it just on my wrists, or is it around any other parts of me as I look around?
You're looking wrists, ankles, and you have a very, very brief moment where, as you're touching them and investigating, they get cold, and a matching coldness encircles your neck.
This is bad.
Oh, you are supposed to die.
Yeah, this is 10 kinds of bad. All right, does it feel like they're pulling in any direction, or does it feel like they're just there?
No, you had just seen it. It caught your eye.
Okay.
It's just
good.
pulling tighter.
Right? So I'm gonna sit down and focusing. I'm gonna pick up the holy symbol and focusing up at the moon. I'm going to basically just concentrate all my energy that direction. And I don't have spells, so this is going to be quite literally a hope and a prayer that this works. But I'm going to reach out to my connection to Sanctum, and
Did you make a camp somewhere?
yeah, it kind of like just a little ritual circle.
Okay, because I just thought about it. I'm like, are you just like out in the wilderness and
Yep.
you just strip down and?
100%, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just
Yep.
occurred to me.
But so I'm gonna look up and I'm not entirely sure this is going to work. This isn't our normal means of communication. In fact, we haven't really had a normal means of communication outside of the gifts you've given me and the weird dreams, I guess. Not entirely sure. Still not used to this whole dreaming thing. But I need your guidance, and I don't mean the cantrip. I'm lost. And I do not feel our connection as I once did. And I'll look down at the rapier, and this doesn't belong to me. This belongs to the puppet master, and I'm not entirely sure if he's a servant of yours or if he just found a way to interfere with our connection. But I need you. I need your guidance. And he's going to step back away from everything, basically all his material possessions, and say, this is how you found me. This is how we started our journey together. And I want that connection back. He's gonna just stand there and see if anything happens. As this player panics.
Yeah.
Hate you, Jordan.
That one's inside baseball. That's
All right. Make a persuasion check.
Can I give myself guidance on this?
I'm not going to say no. It is your magic to do with as you will. What do you think would most appeal to the goddess that you're trying to reach for? What are you doing?
I'm
Make
using
the decision.
I'm using her gift that she gave me to guide me in my attempt to talk to her. Oh, that is nice. So that's a natural 19, which becomes an 18, but a 3, so 18 plus 3. Help. 21.
21. Okay.
21.
last off.
Good dice. You're being good today.
The moonlight grows ever so slightly brighter. You hear a cool wind on the back of your neck, and it carries with it the faintest echo of a single word. Flee.
Did that voice sound feminine? Or did it sound more masculine, like the voice I heard the other night in the cave?
Not the deep, dark, masculine voice, but it was so soft and it didn't have a lot of resonance. It was hard to pick out a whole lot of detail from it. You've heard Sani's voice before. It could have been. It could not.
It could be a new deity. Who had mystery voice on the deity bingo?
He's gonna collect all the deities by the time this campaign is over.
This is the lore, right?
Right.
Goodness.
Do I feel like the strings are tightening, trying to hold me as I turn around, or?
Not getting any particular sensation from them. You turn around, you look. You don't see anything. There's nothing behind you. No person, no individual.
Is there? Ooh, all right. This is gonna be tricky. Okay. Is there like in my vicinity either a pile of rocks or a like a fox burrow near near a tree or something?
Make a perception check.
No, it's not quite as good. Perception is good though. That is a 18.
18. You can find a couple of rocks.
Okay. I'm going to use one of the rocks to kind of like dig a little hole.
Mm-hmm.
Just big enough for the rapier.
Okay.
And deep enough for it too, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to stick the rapier in the hole and bury it.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Warren is trying to kill me.
I
don't mean my character, I mean me. That is a 22.
22? You don't... This doesn't seem like it's going to be a good idea. But, I mean, you're gonna go with it. There's a hesitation as you lay it in and before you start covering it with dirt. And you pause, and then you continue. And you don't, by the time you finish, there's like this antsy crawling under your skin. This craving almost where you want it. You don't want to walk away from it. But you turn away.
I'm going to take the biggest rock that I can find, and right where I buried it, I'm going to put the rock over it.
Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Tell yourself so you can find it later.
Okay. 21.
21? Okay. Another moment of hesitation before you manage to place the rock on it, but you do.
My precious. I will. I'll turn around, turn away from it, look at my gear, and I'll just look back up at the moon and say, "Leave everything, or take it with me."
You don't get any particular answer or message.
Then I'll reach down, grab the rest of my gear, and not even put it on, just run.
Okay.
At least put your boots on. Good grief.
I like
step on a tack.
I like the feeling of the grass between my toes.
You might step on its feet.
Good, it needs to be stepped on.
So you start running. Where are you running to?
I'm going to run back to the city.
Okay.
And see if I can find a place to bed down for the night.
Ignore the crazy man running through the city.
You are stopped at the city gates. It's well past dark by this point. It's not super late, but it's getting there. And you're a young man carrying a load of stuff over his shoulder, shirtless, barefoot, dirt encrusting his arms up to his elbows, running up the road.
I forgot that part. I would have slowed down when I got within sight of the gate because I'm fleeing, but I also know there are guards. I do know how cities work. And I'll walk up and just say,
Not a complete heathen.
sorry for getting in so late. Had a bit longer trip out than I anticipated. Is it too late to find a room for the night? And maybe a place to wash up?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, balls. Guidance! Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's not as good. 14?
14. The guards look you over. And one of them steps forward and he's like, "Nah, it's too late. Find somewhere to sleep out here. Wash up. Come in the morning." And one of the other guards walks up to him and he's like, "Wait now. Hold a minute. What you running from, lad?"
Not so much running from, more of the trying to get in before you close up for the night, before the inns stop taking travelers. Like I said, I was out a little bit later than I expected, and didn't even put my armor back on, just trying to make it back to the city.
If you're in need of help, I might know somewhere that can help you.
Oh God, no.
Do I feel like there's anything sinister behind those words?
Make an insight check.
Okay, I'm good at those.
Puppet master in the flesh.
I'm very good at those. That is a 27.
27.
Thank you, plus 8.
Sending you to the Church of Bahamut with the
I don't know.
guys.
You get the sense, as he's talking to you, that he sees a boy on the run from something who's trying to put a good face on it, but not doing super great. And that the help he offers would probably, help take care of your immediate circumstance. Maybe with maybe with a few strings attached.
Well, I'm not one to turn down help when in need. I appreciate any assistance you can give. Really, honestly, I just need a place to wash up and rest up for the night. So any way you can think of that I might be able to do so. I don't mind sleeping outdoors, just if there's an inn where I can get cleaned up, that would be better.
Oh, no, absolutely. We'll find a room for you. I've got some friends recent coming to the city. They'll help take care of you.
It's fine.
That's how Val joined the Brotherhood.
It's just like, oh god.
There's the next god. That's the next god.
Tiamat.
What could go wrong?
Let me find the name of the inn here.
Which y'all don't know is I'm secretly a cleric of Tiamat the whole time.
Nah, I believe
That
that.
tracks.
I mean, I've been the
And
uh,
traveler
two
the
other
whole time.
demons now, sure, as well.
That definitely tracks.
Gilman.
Well, if every time you took on a different deity, you had to take another level. To start from the beginning, you've got like 10 levels in cleric, but you're only a level 1 cleric.
Okay, so the guard turns to the other one and says, "Gilman, you got it here for a bit. I'll be back soon. I'm gonna take this lad up to the Oak and Tankard."
This is gonna end well.
Gilman nods since you owe me. Hey, I'll get you a drink when we're done. Off shift, You lad, what's your name?
Is he talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
I'll look up and Val.
Everybody say bye,
Well, well, come on in, lad. It's not too far. We'll get you cleaned up and warm. I'm Danica. This way.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Certainly. So he leads you through the streets, and we will go ahead and pick up at that point in just a little bit.
Yes.
Solyax.
Your turn.
I think Danica and Patrick.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe he's a horse racer.
I feel like y'all are making references I don't get.
Yes, wonderful.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
We respect your names.
Yep.
no, it's fine.
Okay.
Moving on.
Solyax, you're asleep. You're deeply asleep. And you're dreaming. And you only know this because you feel when your dreamscape shifts. You are suddenly, somehow, back on that very first cliff where you met Asha. You turn with this awareness of this presence behind you, and you see an elderly man in peasant garb standing behind you.
This is good.
He looks at you, and he greets you. Well done. You've learned much in recent days, young arbiter. The path ahead is dark and dangerous. Tell me, are you prepared?
No, I don't think I am, as I believe I am actually currently sleeping in a bathtub. I do not feel prepared at all.
Say that last bit one more time.
I do not feel prepared at all.
He looks at you and he just sort of laughs. Well, that's not very good then, is it?
Well, where I'm at, so I do what I can.
What have you learned, Solyax?
Ooh.
How far have you come?
Well, let's see. What have I learned? Seems like this is going to be either a very long list or a very short summarized list, and I'm not sure where we're going with this, so here we go. I've learned many things. I've learned perhaps the foremost of what I thought was right is actually wrong. I've learned that people should be judged more on their deeds and actions than for things that are outside of their control. I've learned that mercy and kindness actually has a place in this world over cruelty and harshness. There's enough of that, and it should be the place of the church to provide sanctuary to those who have been ostracized by the world and not aid in the ostracization. You know what I mean.
I do indeed. Do go on. You're on a roll.
Not very dexterous rolling doesn't work well for me. I have found that sometimes it's easier to be alone, but people are a necessity, and friends is a good thing. I do not understand how the Sanctum works or anything of that nature. I'm very confused by all of it. But from what I've gathered, a aid to Asha apparently had something to do with the founding of Sproutling. So therefore it should be investigated, protected. I don't know what it means, but I feel like it's important. If it was attacked by your enemies, then it must be important. I just have no idea how any of it works. But this is the purpose of friends, because they know things that I do not. And while I might be strong, they are better. I've learned that there is a lot that I cannot do. And I've learned that it is important to admit that to myself and to accept help in the things that I cannot accomplish. And in the things that I can accomplish, I should not be overly boastful about those abilities, but act on them with a bit of humility. Still working on that one, but I know it. Practice. It's a little bit more difficult.
It always is.
I've learned that I've learned that I'm not afraid. I don't have fear. I used to, but I don't have fear. I'm concerned. I do not feel prepared. But I think whatever comes, I have peace with that. I just would rather not die, if possible. And so I think that's why I'm currently sleeping in a bathtub.
I must say, that was a move I did not expect. Your current location, I mean.
Right. To be fair, neither did I.
Muhammad got a sense of humor.
So,
What have you learned of compassion?
there's not enough of it, that's for sure. I think, it's important. It's a necessity for the world. One thing I'm still learning is how compassion ties into my role. I know justice should be dealt out to those who have done wrong in your name. But I don't know exactly how that looks. I
You
don't
see
know
at
how
this
compassion
point,
ties into that.
his eyes get very serious, and he turns more fully to face you. He says, Silyax, there is no true justice without compassion. Justice without compassion is vengeance in a pretty face.
Compassion is not mercy, really.
Connected. But not the same, no.
So for those within your church who have betrayed your teachings, how would you help me out?
With justice.
Hallelujah.
Right. Gonna have to think on that one. Not sure how. World is easier in black and white, but this is not it, is it?
Many things are easier in black and white. Unfortunately, world is rarely so simple.
Right. Compassion. Related to mercy, but important for justice.
Think on it.
I will.
You have kept faith with me, Silyax. I have faith in you. The road ahead is difficult. Be aware. And go with my blessing.
Well, thank you.
He says that, and as you thank him, you feel a small pressure land on your shoulder. You look over, and there's a tiny little canary that has landed right on you. It gives a little chirp as you look over at it. Then it takes off. You look back to where the old man had been standing. He is gone. Shortly after, your dream shifts. You return to a more normal sleep. And we'll go ahead and pause with you there as you enter into a more natural dreaming state. And jump over to Rye and Halberd.
That's Halberd was.
He had to go.
He has to go let Puppy in real quick.
Okay. We will pause real quick then. Yes?
Question.
Go
Just
for
like flavor text question. The old man, was he a dragonborn?
No, human.
Not. He was a human.
We've seen him before.
Mm-hmm. Well, Celiax has.
You have.
I don't remember that at all. Garrett or the dwarf don't
Yeah,
remember.
it's been a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for Halberd to get back,
Okay.
Val,
Yeah.
No crap!
we'll jump in on this real quick.
Oh God, I wasn't ready.
You're led to the Oaken Tankard,
Whenever.
and it is a fairly mediocre inn and tavern. You are led by Danica into this larger sort of it's a private room, but it's for larger gatherings, and you find a number of relatively cheaply garbed individuals. So they're in robes that are of rough, sort of undyed homespun, very simply dressed. Their robes are belted around their waist. They each wear a pendant around their neck. This is a very familiar pendant. This is a pendant of a 5-pointed star. And you have been led to a number of the Brotherhood here in Dragenthrone.
I'm so happy.
Oh, life's so
Danica informs them of your need for rest and respite for the night, and they offer you a place to bed down among their number to rest. They share their food with you. They offer you drink, water, wine, your choice. They're very kind to you as a whole. They give you a chance to clean up, and they give you some privacy to get changed and get dressed. They offer you some of their own clothing if what you have is not sufficient. What are you doing? How is Val responding to this?
Why is it always?
I know. I've been thinking the same thing. So after
I'm gonna have to murder him.
Val, like, very much has to hide the sheer panic on his face. How many individuals are around him with this 5-pointed star thing?
In this particular room, not too many, 14, 16.
Oh God, that's so outnumbered.
That's so mean, Lauren. I love it.
Thank you, Garrett. Thank you.
Please excuse me while I get my tablet that's been charging.
Go ahead.
I will. I'll excuse myself to go clean up.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a separate washroom, or is it kind of like? Is it kind of like a?
It's separate but nearby. It's just across the hall from the room that they're in.
So I will go clean myself up, put my armor back on, and resheathe my scimitar, and I will Do I still feel like I have the fishing line around my wrists and ankles, neck thing?
You don't really feel it, but you look and you can definitely see it. It's still visibly
Okay.
present.
Cool. I'm gonna walk out and thank whoever is kind of leading the generosity.
Mhm.
If you'll excuse me one moment, I'll return shortly. And step out. Is there like a tavern owner, tavern keeper person nearby? I'll walk up to them and my apologies for the late hour. Do you happen to have a room for rent? I do have coin to pay.
We got one attic room up top. It ain't much. I'd normally reserve it for storage, especially with the influx of goods we're getting in for the Feast of Strength. But I mean, it's a room. Probably got enough room to sleep up in there.
That's very fair. Is Danica still around?
No, Danica dropped you off and then went back to his post.
Okay, fair enough. What district was Gertie's shop in?
River District.
River District. Okay. Could you tell me how far we are from the River District? Trying to plan my excursions tomorrow.
Well, sure. We're here in the Bastion Ward. You want to head south a little bit, and really, you're gonna want to head probably mostly southwest to get to the gate into the River District. A little bit of the checkpoint this late at night. You'll understand.
Mm-hmm. No, that's all right. Not looking to make my way out tonight. It is rather late. And I'll pull out 5 gold and set it on the table. Would this be enough to cover that room for the evening?
Certainly is. That's mighty generous. I mean, I'd take half of that.
Well, I was hoping that might also cover the provision of a hot meal, if you don't mind.
I suppose so. I don't see anything wrong with that. You got any sort of preference? I can get just about anything made up for you for that.
No, and feel free to surprise me. Is there a bed upstairs that I may use, or I know you said you mostly use it for storage.
Can get a cot up in there for you, sure.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Not sleeping. And I will, as he's getting everything ready, I'll walk back to the room with the Brotherhood and just give him balance. Thank you. It looks like a room has been prepared for me, so I appreciate your generosity and your hospitality. If you don't mind me asking while I'm waiting for food to be prepared, how long have you been in Dragonfirm?
Oh, I'm but a recent arrival. I arrived yesterday. Some of these here have been here for, just over a week now? My pull up my name here.
Fred Bob.
Kafred.
No.
My friend Ada.
Oh.
And she gestures towards an elderly woman.
Mm-hmm.
Gray hair pulled back into a loose bun. She's been here just under 2 weeks, right around that point.
Yes, I've had several dealings with members of your. Do you call it a clan? Do you call it how exactly would you describe yourselves?
Evil.
We're a brotherhood. a family, if you will. We care for each other in numerous ways.
And for care for many others, it sounds like, from the few run-ins that I've had. How did you come to, if you don't mind me asking, it sounds like you're ready to join the Church of Bahamut. How did you come to make that decision?
Oh, well, we've been in talks for some time. For embracing the spirit of unity more than anything else, I suppose. We are very practically minded in the needs that we meet and the ways we assist those we can. And we feel like we can help meet the needs. We can bring much service to the church itself.
That does sound like a worthy goal. When do you, if you don't mind me asking, I've heard a rumor that some of your higher ups will be joining us for the feast. When do you expect them?
Oh, well, as I said, I arrived yesterday. My compatriots will be arriving within the week.
Sounds like things are going to get busier and busier around here. Wow.
That is quite likely. There's still a fair bit of work to do. I am set to meet with His Holiness, the Archpriest Desmond, in the morning. It's much work to be done.
Oh, it sounds like it. There's lots of preparations to be made, and it's definitely going to be an interesting ceremony, won't it?
Oh, certainly. A feast for the ages.
Well, I will let you, I'll leave you to your rest. Thank you so much for your hospitality. And I hope to see you around the city sometime.
Absolutely. You're more than welcome to share our food in the morning also, if you wish.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your offer. Lauren, real quick question. Does she happen to have like a, I know we've seen different types of the symbol, the stars. Does hers look any, like, am I able to figure out what color or what rank is she?
Make a perception check.
Yeah, look at that smirk she has.
I know, right? Don't you give me that DM smirk. Perception, you said?
Yes.
22.
22. You're pretty sure it's gold.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, balls. What about the rest around? How? I mean.
There's a variety. As you glance around the room, you're pretty sure that there are a couple silver, a couple copper. There's one or two that may be bronze. It's hard to tell in the firelight in here.
Fair enough. I'm sorry. I don't believe I caught your name.
Oh, Marina. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Why does that sound familiar?
Marina?
Marina? Was it Marina?
Yep.
It's in your notes.
We even had a platinum star.
Oh,
Definitely heard about this.
Marina, like the boat.
yeah. Spelled. Make sure I spelled it right. Spelled like the boat dock.
Sure.
Give me a shirt. That's a yes or no question.
You refer to a previous episode, she spelled it for you, and yes.
Yeah, I can't read my own handwriting at the moment. I think I was in a bit
That
of a
sounds
tear.
like a problem for you.
Yeah, this is the problem. There it is. This is the problem.
I rolled a mountain run on penmanship.
Hey, my handwriting has not improved since kindergarten. Okay, I don't care. This is why I type most things. Oh balls! This is not good.
On that note, now we will jump over to Ryan Halberd.
Oh, thank you, because Jay's freaking out.
Why is Michael Bay written in my notes?
Oh, this is bad, guys.
Could be.
Okay.
Nah, what you talking about? Everything's chill. We're fine.
So- Halberd, you are in Rice Chambers at the library. You have just discovered these pictures. You have found some that were somewhat more secreted, sort of hidden slightly behind a wardrobe. Is that right? I'm recalling that it's behind the wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them feature this drow at various ages. A younger individual. Yes?
Question on that.
Yes.
Based off of a similar character who doesn't like me and I'm not particularly fond of, are there similar facial structures, defining features that would come through even if someone were to say, I don't know, possibly disguise themselves like everyone in the library seems to be doing when they leave? Would I catch if maybe this is like some dude who might be ousting about sometimes in different faces?
Make a perception check.
I will take that. 22?
22? I mean, there's something about the facial features, the cheekbones, the brow line, the shape of the nose. That's familiar.
I'll also just note that drawing I mentioned last time of Rye laughing with an elf looks kind of like this drow.
Mm-hmm.
You would guess this is probably a rendition of Oust.
Does he disguise himself for his protection?
Are you asking me that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Curiously looking there, it's a very neutral question.
it's the same thing that you find with tieflings. When somewhere else we're part and parcel of them, it's not anything that stands out, and on other worlds it's not. So for places where it's not, you do what you need to.
That's fair. That's most certainly fair. So remind me real fast, are we at your apartment and have we left and seen your aunt?
We haven't left. We were at the apartment, and as I recall, when we stopped, it was right after I had been mentioning Haldwin to you, and we were looking at the picture. That's why we had the pictures out.
And this one looks strangely familiar. How old is he?
I can't say for certain. So even if I was not the role that I am, where I travel a lot, Haldwin is a very high-level archivist, so I don't have a lot of interaction with him. Most of the interaction I do have is through Oust. One of the most notable ones was actually whenever I was quite small. He's the archivist who actually brought Study and I back to the library. So, but yes, I don't know very much about him, and what I do know, I would be able to tell you mostly about Oust, and you would have to infer. Oust and I are very close, and Haldwin is very close with Oust. If you will recall, I mentioned the fact that there's about 5 people, although it's apparently looking like 7 now, that Oust actually likes. And of those 5, Haldwin and I are probably the most notable. On the world that Oust comes from, it's very common for drow to be sold as children to the homes of mostly high elves, but some wood elves who nouveau riche, they've got the money and the power to do so. And Oust was one of those children. We're not entirely sure how old he was whenever he first encountered Haldwin. We estimate it was about 15. And he saw Haldwin, and he noted the fact that he was not from that world, that he was a traveler of some sort, that he had some sort of escape, and Oust, being who he is, stole the pendant for the library, thinking that's how Haldwin was able to travel back and forth, and tried to blackmail Haldwin into taking him with him. And Haldwin saw something about it that he said was significant. And so he brought Oust back to the library. But Oust was very old for a foundling. Most of the time, the oldest we take them is between 10 and 12. And so there was a lot of discussion about whether he was even able to remain. But Haldwin vouched for him and said that if we would go ahead and start Oust and then a little bit of training at the library, Haldwin would also start him as an apprentice. And so they started Oust a little bit below his age in mine. And as we have already noted, I'm not terribly impressed by anyone. And so whenever they came to finding a partner to help teach an angry drow, they went with the one person who wasn't terribly worried about how he was responding to her. And that is our history. Haldwin is a mentor, but I think in a lot of ways more of a father figure. And I think you represent a number of threats that he fears deeply. Your party has been monopolizing my time, and you are a part of that. And I think he saw you and he made a connection that I did not. And I think he is afraid that blood will trump the relationship he currently has with Haldwin. You represent loss to him.
I represent loss.
He's afraid. He's afraid. He fears what you could potentially be taking from him.
I have no intention of taking anything from the young lad. And
I know that.
And that's completely understandable. I am very much intrigued, but he need not fear me.
I know that, darling. I know that, and I can tell them that however many times, but he gets an idea, and it's hard to break him of it.
Well, it can be that way. Ideas are stronger and harder to defeat than actions are. 100%. You can't kill an idea. You have to either disprove it or replace it with something better. Sometimes just trying to push it out makes it just stick even stronger. It becomes some point of identity, and you carry it with you. I am curious, was Oust the one who had the armor, though?
Yes. That's a slight confirmation. I can confirm. I can state. I received the armor from Oust, and he confirmed for me that he received it from Haldwin.
Where does Haldwin come from, if you don't mind me asking? I'm locked onto the picture and just it's not hidden. It's very focused. Wheels are turning, things are moving.
Again, I don't know much of Haldwin's history. The aunts mentioned he's coming to dinner tonight, so I'm not sure if he would like to have an introduction. It's up to you, obviously. But again, the most that I know of Haldwin is truly the little interactions that he's had with Oust and the brief moment of history that I share with him.
I would very much like to meet him, because it is no small thing to come by a piece of armor with those ruins on it. Some might say it's almost improbable or impossible, unless you are connected to it. But there's part of me that in this moment detrimentally fears what our friends are getting themselves into.
Well, hopefully hopefully, Celiax and Doran and Case 4 have been able to keep Celiax in line, and one only knows what's going on with Val.
I'm in danger.
Feel called out, but that's fair.
I mean, they're grown men. It can't be that bad. It's not like they're running around naked in the woods or hiding in bathrooms. So,
this is very true. I mean, we are in a city after all.
I'm glad we travel with such mature, intelligent companions.
Now that's a lie. I don't believe that.
No, that is not a lie. Y'all are very strong and you are intelligent. How you choose to exercise such strength and intelligence.
No, I'm saying that the sentiment comes from I smell sarcasm from hell.
Rye is 100% sarcastic, and she's like, "Yes, intelligent. Yes." Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm not entirely sure. I know another individual who can pick up a headband and suddenly just understand another language. When I was married, I'd bring my wife a headband, and sometimes I couldn't understand half the things she was saying. And we speak the same language. It was definitely an adventure, lots of growing. I miss those days.
Well,
I learned some language from that headband.
I do think it's questionable how much intelligence it takes to put on a headband that was worn previously by a fiend.
And yet he suddenly started speaking languages that very impressive, very impressive.
That's a word for it. Well,
I think if you'd be all right, I would very much love for you to be with your family tonight. I think it would be great to check in with the others personally, maybe start getting on the same page, because I think there's much for them to know and for us to find out as well. Do you know how much time has passed in their world and ours? How does the library generally keep time, or is it like the Feywilds of icky, sticky, and a lot of questions in between?
Lauren?
Master.
Okay, so right, you would know that the library, as a much older, much more established sanctum, is capable of attuning to the time of particular worlds and sort of lining itself up with that. And while that can be variable across the planes, generally time passage for the librarian is going to be time passage approximately the same as the world that they're traveling to.
How much time would have passed from when we got there to now?
You'll probably be coming back late evening into the night of the day that you left.
Hours.
I warned the ants that I would need to pop back in and see what's going on in Dinagon. They have a tendency to eat late anyway. So I think we can probably go back for a little bit, and I can return once we have a handle on the situation. I'd like to drop off with Sarai the Sending Stone as it be anyway.
Very, very wise. I'm going to pull out a piece of paper, scrawl on it, just a little message, fold it up, hand it to Ryan, say, yeah, next time we see Oust, pass them this along to him. I'm ready to head on back if you are. I think I've already exceeded my mental capacity for Sanctum travel. It's been quite a day. I now know that there's 3 Sanctums in existence, at least. And I've not been to my own Sanctum in I don't know how long. If it's still at the time.
I'll start escorting Halberd back out to the portal so that we can get back. There are quite a few more Sanctums than just 3, but yes, I do think the 2 we have dealt with today is more than enough.
Yeah, for some reason that just really doesn't surprise me. But
do you know, I just realized we never actually determined where we were going to meeting up with him again.
Yeah,
shoot.
someone else realized
Well,
that.
I think what I would say is it's always best in Cyprus to go back to your point of origin. So you work from the point and move forward from there. We met at Gertie's and went underground first. Checking back in at Gertie's might be a fairly decent idea. Worst comes to worst, we can
Seems
always
wise, isn't it?
the sewer area and commence ourselves underground. I think I might be able to get us back.
Yes, between your skills and my memory.
Yep. I think that's very fair.
Lovely.
Well, let's go find some fun.
So,
Jailbreak, whichever one.
As y'all are heading out of the library, or out of rest quarters, out of the library proper, back up to stacks for the exit out, both of you make perception checks.
no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It's a
How much?
10.
10? Okay.
Mhm.
Halbert?
27.
27? Right, as you're leading Halbert out, you miss it. You don't catch it. Halbert, you're pretty positive you're being tailed. You catch a flicker of movement through one of the bookshelves. And not surprising, but when it happens again 5-6 seconds later, you've got a beat on it.
Just gonna grin to myself and just motion behind me in a slight wave and keep on walking.
Tower move.
You wave. Is this a nice try sort of wave, or is
No,
this
it's
like a
just
more
an
welcoming wave or an acknowledgement?
It
Okay.
is not disrespectful. It's also not this power play move. It's just like respect.
It's the motorcycle wave, it's the Jeep wave, it's the...
Yeah.
I see you.
Okay. Insight.
Please pick up on this.
Arrows and magic.
There's a brief moment where this shadowy figure just goes completely still as you wave. And then you see Oust emerging from the shadows to sort of escort you along as you walk out of the library. Not looking very happy. He's got a fairly grumpy look on his face, just very stoic and still fairly untrusting. This sort of begrudging look he was wearing, but he's staying 15, 20 feet back, following you pretty consistently. As you emerge from the library and up into stacks, he closes that distance a little bit and moves a little bit forward. So he's just sort of slightly behind Rye and about 10 feet off to the side. Excuse me. As y'all are heading through the city proper. And even though it's getting sort of late by your internal clock, Halberd, the city is still bustling. It's still very active. Rye, you lead him to the gate where y'all had entered and prepare to head back to Denegon. Anything else y'all want to do before you leave?
Get back to our crew.
Okay.
Make sure the planet's still there.
Oh, it's there, but you know, like the shattering in the islands. Well, it's more shattered and more islands.
There's a big crater.
Alright.
Party's been
So, right, you asked the library for transport back to Denegon. Do you have a particular destination in mind?
Probably the bookshop that we left from, because that's, again, just kind of retracing our steps.
Right. Okay. So as y'all emerge into this bookstore, Right, you recall Bound to Please. You notice a number of books on the walls, also a significant rope and leather section. So we'll pause there for a moment. Door in case of door.
Will we now?
Rye is going to say as she comes in, well, I do have a curiosity about how Sarai knows about this place.
Door in case of door. Y'all have been hiding.
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to, right?
No. Y'all have been hiding. It has settled down. It is well into evening. Night has fallen at this point. You emerge from hiding, and you're still in Dragon's Heart. You're still in this sacred ground, this temple district. What are y'all doing?
I mean, group at this point. I need Quesator to be on the screen. Where are you, Jordan?
I'm right here. Does my voice pop me up?
Yeah, there you are. Hey, sexy man. How long have we been hiding there? What's the time? Is it
Couple
getting
hours.
evening time?
It is. The sun is down. It is full dark by this point, where the search has died down enough where you feel it's safe to emerge.
Okay. Well then. Alright, well, at this point you think it sounds like we're safe to get out of here, but the question now is where do we go? We've got people to find.
Well, it's been a minute. Remind me where we split up. The catacombs? We split after the catacombs, yes?
I believe so. Let me check my notes. No, that's definitely not
I
it.
believe were we staying at Gertie's, or were we just convening there and then staying somewhere else? I don't think she had rooms.
You had been in the catacombs.
Yep.
Sarai had led you to emerge from the catacombs so that you and Siliex, the two of you and Siliex, could go get the horses and make your triumphant entry into the city. And so that Halberd and Rye could take Veneer to the chapel. Like she had led y'all out of the catacombs themselves.
Okay.
So when the group actually split, it was on the in an alley off of the city streets above ground.
And whereabouts did we end up hiding? What district?
Y'all are still in Dragon's Heart.
Okay, so we're
You're still in the temple district. You haven't crossed over the wall. You haven't made your way through the gate.
Right.
And so the district's separated by gates and walls?
This district in particular. The rest have various checkpoints on main thoroughfares, but are a lot more easily traversed. But and there's an outside wall of the city itself. Not very many walls within the city proper.
All right. Well, you're still disguised. Is he still disguised? Or how long does that last?
Only an hour.
Okay.
It's working by this point.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean, we don't really have a way of contacting anyone, and we don't have a better place to go. My vote, I say we go back to where we started. Let's go back to Sigarty.
Was she in the river district?
Yes.
Okay.
With that,
we could. We'll. I don't know if she'll be open at this hour. We could try there. We could just find a place to sleep for the night and hope that Val contacts us in the morning.
That's probably for the best.
We can go back to Gertie's and see what's happening, and if not, then we'll just find a nearby inn to spend the night, and I'm sure that the group will contact us when they are able.
That's not a bad idea. Do you think, if we listen closely, do we hear any kind of, there's no way they're still searching for a man and a dwarf hanging out?
Not
There's
actively.
still, the search is less active. There are still people going about their lives, and there's a heavier guard presence just sort of on a standard patrol route, but the intense search has died down a little bit. You guess that they probably think you've already made your way out of the district.
Then I'm gonna go ahead and still for the sake of trying to be disguised a little bit, I'm gonna do the thing where I had the fabric through and covering the chest armor, so that way I'm a little more disguised in a different way now. All right, if we're going to go back that way, let's not walk right with each other. Let's walk on, like opposite sides of the street, but let's make our way back.
I could disguise myself again as something different, and I could also help with yours if you're amiable.
I'll take the help.
Okay, I'll use my disguise kit on Doran.
Okay.
Spell is only self.
Shave the
Like-
dwarf.
Spray up my beard or something.
Nobody shaves the door.
Sure, we'll gray him up, olden him up a little bit, maybe lighten the hair.
Okay.
Lord, yeah, look like.
Roll with your disguise kit.
Okay.
Him roll, me roll.
He's disguising you as his kit, so he rolls.
Oh, that's a 24.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Much better than
Okay.
Hawk Bandit.
All right, so Kazator, you look at Doran, and while he's very stocky, he's also very tall for a dwarf. With the beard braided cleverly and mostly tucked out of the way, and with the powders to change and slightly alter the coloring of his skin tone and his hair, you're pretty confident he would make a passable human. Stocky, muscular as all get out, but passable.
I will cast Disguise Self on myself and go with a more human-looking Lita.
Okay. So Doran,
These things.
you see Kazator transform himself into, if your girlfriend looked human, taller, slightly smoother features, more just. It's uncanny. It is weird. It is very, very odd.
I reach through the illusion and gently but firmly grab him by his shirt collar. If you make this weird, I will hurt you. Want you to understand that, dear.
Of course, have.
That's perfect.
Oh my god.
And we will make our way towards the gate.
The day we've had. Don't push my buttons, Kazator.
I thought you might like a friendly sight. That's all.
Oh.
I feel like that's the episode title right there. If you make this weird.
Yeah.
I have at least 6 episode titles written down right now.
Add if you make this weird to that one.
And then an ellipses.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, and then. All right.
Go to the gate.
All right, let's go. Let's
All right.
go.
Are y'all just walking openly in the city streets? Are you still trying to be fairly stealthy about it? How describe to me how y'all are doing this.
If there are people out and about, I think we're probably just walking casually.
Yeah, casually trying not stealthy, but not drawing attention.
Yeah.
As much as the site we are can attest for that.
Sure thing.
Perfect.
With your disguises, I want y'all to go ahead and make me deception checks at advantage.
Deception advantage. That was a natural 1 and a natural 20.
Oh!
Very
in
nice.
it.
I need dice to roll.
A total of 31.
Ooh, bravo.
Well, that's not great. That's a 9.
At advantage? Oh, does that just make... Oh, it's deception.
Yeah, it was a 7 and an 8.
Lovely.
Oof.
In case
Yeah,
we're out,
I'm-
really sell the disguise and start making out Dorn.
There are other ways.
Okay. So as y'all are getting close to the gate into the River District, heading towards Gertie's,
In the headspace. of what this man
Doran
feels.
is getting a little anxious, a little antsy. Kazator, though, is just selling it, doing everything he can to help keep Doran a little calm, distracting the guards a little bit as Doran is making his way through the gate. Ultimately, you all are successful in passing through, escaping the Dragonheart district once and for all. Y'all are heading to Gertie's?
Yes, we're headed to Gertie's.
Okay.
I'm just
Jordan, I love you.
linked
Same
arm,
way.
just kind of rubbing his arm. It's okay. As he's seeming kind of nervous, and probably mostly the distraction is why he's, but
Make a survival check for me. Both of you make one individually as y'all are fixing to stroll through the streets, attempting to
Another
locate the
natural.
Bullhead Plaza.
Survival?
Survival.
23.
Is this just a straight roll?
I've rolled 3 natural 19s and a natural 20 tonight.
Wow.
It hasn't been all of my rolls because I failed a couple of, but overall.
9.
9. Okay. So, Doran, you're pretty confident you know the way. Kazator guides you back on track a couple of times. He's like, no, I'm pretty sure it's this way. So it takes a little bit of time. Y'all get there. It's getting pretty late at this point. Oddly, you still see the shop is lit. There's a fair bit of activity. People are still cleaning up, sweeping things out. Gertie herself is sort of presiding over it all, fully healed, but kind of milking the situation for a little bit, talking and greeting the individuals as they come into the shop, seeing what they can do to help.
But I'm confuzzled. They're still running business hours?
Nope.
No.
Y'all
Okay.
walk in and the shop is empty. The walls are bare. It is very much looking like, a grocery store or an electronics store after Black Friday where the shelves are just bare, but there's still some semblance of organization. That's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Walmart a year ago.
We'll pause there.
On the way in, when it's that sigh of relief of we've made it, I'm telling him it's just your disguise. I'm worried about her, and you just that was not the one to pick. Is all this. I always all right, and oh dear Lord, what happened?
He's probably in a much better spot than we are, and that is a great question.
As y'all are entering the shop, we'll go ahead and pause there real quick. Because Ryan, Halberd, y'all were heading back to Gertie's also, is that right?
Got 4 and 6.
A very,
Holy gross.
y'all go ahead and make me a survival check to find your way from where you're at in the city over to Gertie's.
Are we helping each other out, or is this individual?
For this one, I will let y'all decide that.
I mean, I have a decent roll. I'm not sure what we need. Go ahead and make your own. Make your own.
I will tell you this. You will eventually find your way there. This is to determine how long it takes. Just to see the timeline of who gets there first and what that looks like.
I'll just help Rye out. I'll make suggestions about wasn't it over there? And see if I can just give her advantage on that.
Okay.
That you can roll.
That was a 17.
17. Okay. So evening has fallen. It is getting completely dark at this point. Y'all have a very brief stop at Bound to Please before you head back out and make your way through the streets into the
How would you wear lots of leathers, right?
No, not really.
into the streets heading towards the River District and to Gertie's. So it takes a little bit of time. You get there. It is full dark. As you're walking up, you see this other couple walking from the other direction, and you're pretty sure. No, that woman looks a lot like Lita.
Kind of nudge. Oh no, I've actually never seen Lita.
You've never seen her. This would be a
Never mind.
help thing.
Yeah.
Halberd, one other thing, you roll a perception check for me. We'll start with that.
21.
21. Okay, yeah. No, you definitely that definitely does look a lot like Lita. Is that Doran? Oh, that's odd. That's an odd disguise.
So I know it's a disguise.
You recognize Doran off the bat, and seeing him with the human version of Lita, like, the guy's got a type apparently.
Can I roll
Two and two together.
Can I roll a performance check to see if he recognizes the disguise?
You know what? Sure, we'll make this a contested roll.
Yeah.
Halbert's insight versus Kazator's performance.
I'm gonna see if I could see facial features of Kazator in Lita.
That's a spell.
I guess
It's a
that's how
spell.
good of a performer I am.
Yep.
Ooh, that's bad, but that's good. So,
And he,
what do you say?
I didn't say.
Oh, mine's only 14.
I'm a 17.
does his perception pick up on how uncomfortable I am?
Yeah.
Not one does that.
Right.
I'm going to look here at Ryan and say, so it's not actually common knowledge right now, but you might want to offer congratulations to Doran. Because special things are happening in his life.
Oh, it's special.
Look at Aaron getting mad.
I
Not
would.
entirely following now.
I'm putting myself in the right headspace for character. That's what this is.
I love this so much.
Trying to think of what a dwarf feels.
Ryan's just very confused.
Doesn't let on about it, but he's got a special lady friend.
Oh yes, I remember this Lita person.
Yes, absolutely. And apparently,
Dungeon
in the
Master.
flesh, it appears Lita is here.
Oh no!
I'll kind of look around. Where is she?
Right over there, I'm gonna just slightly point at the one walking by Doran and point at Kazator.
This is amazing. I love life.
A human. For some reason, I was under the impression she was a dwarf.
For some reason, I think you might want to be under the impression that's actually Kazator, but you should totally tell Doran congratulations anyways, just to see what he does.
I love this.
I don't
I
remember.
have a lot of questions about what happened while we were gone, but
They're alive, so that's a success in my book, right?
You do remember they left with Soliex, and Soliex is conspicuously absent.
Soliex is not here, and Kazator has disguised himself as a human version of Doran's love interest. Yes, that's infinitely a good sign.
Well, it's better than having to try to bring him back from the dead.
If that is the comparison, you are correct. It is better.
Do you know how many times we brought people back from the dead?
At least once, darling.
Way too many. Way too many. I think that almost everyone in our party has come back from the dead at some point. Except for me.
Right.
Maybe Kazator. Yep, Kazator's been out of that one too.
That's the child.
Oh dear.
Technically.
Not part of our party.
Hello? Can we get some directions, please? We're trying to find a location.
This is amazing.
What
Huh?
was that?
Are we getting retconned where they called out to us?
As you've sort of stopped outside of Gertie's, you see this very familiar pair of individuals walking towards you, asking for directions.
Oh, because I was saying that when we were entering, I was apologizing for being pissed off because I was worried about Lita.
Okay.
So
So
I think I probably ignored them.
Thanks.
yeah, right. You call out to him and just oblivious, no response at all.
Oh, they seem to be devilishly in love.
Wait for it. Lauren.
Did we get her?
That was close.
Did we get her?
That was close.
Oh no, she's gonna lose it.
I'm fine.
Oh, dang it.
Still
Brenda,
hold the record.
that hurt. That went up my nose.
Brenda, you cannot take the title from me.
Do it.
Oh.
Devilishly in love.
I should know, darling.
Moonlight can certainly make someone look incredibly different, can't it?
Mm-hmm. When the moon fills your eyes, that is the more.
I don't see any pizza. No, I'm gonna walk forward.
No.
Oh, good to see you there, Doran. Hello, you.
I think Rye's gonna move to address them and all of a sudden stop and go, "What in the blazes happened here?"
I was just asking that question.
But Doran, I was just wondering.
So
Are
y'all
we
stop in the
inside
door.
the building now?
Yes, y'all have entered the building.
I got
Y'all sort of.
Doran's always hitting me.
You can't even pretend you don't deserve it.
Now, Doran,
I was
let me
getting
just
this
say,
out alive.
Doran rolled a hit.
that
I
seems
was
like a
just-
rather abusive relationship, and I'm not.
I was
gonna
just
tell you
saving our
that.
butts.
You're not
My
supposed to strike
second
a lady.
attack goes to Halberd.
I'd like to take the.
Natural 20 on Kazator.
Hellish rebuke.
Why is you walk into Jody's and just boom?
It's just in celestial. Son of a gun.
Oh, that's amazing.
What is it for unarmed?
1 plus your strength modifier, I believe.
All right, so 15 to Halberd.
No.
I said
Wait.
two attacks.
What?
I hit Kazator, then I hit Halberd.
Two attacks.
Right.
It was a 15 to hit Halberd. That's what you're
It
saying.
was
Oh, okay. 15 to hit, not 15 damage. I was confused for a
I didn't
moment.
roll damage. Because I didn't roll damage because I don't figure that mattered because it's flavor text.
If you want.
Unless we get into a fight right here, right now, and those few points put someone over the edge.
Well, Hellish rebuke was 12 damage, though.
Dang. And you took what? 1 plus strength mod
6,
Took 12.
6.
right? I think his strength is 5.
20 though.
It would probably only.
Then it'd be 2 plus strength.
Yeah, Lauren, how are you doing nat 20s on unarmed strike? Instead of 1 plus strength mod, it would be 2 plus
strength mod.
Okay.
Yeah.
7. Here's 7. Here's 50. That's what happened.
12.
Well, I can see things have been boring here while we've been gone.
We just got back ourselves.
Coming out the doorways, dears.
Gertie, you're looking slightly worse than me.
Oh, slightly. Your friend has done remarkable healing. I'm fine, really.
Is our friend there right now? I can't. Are you there, Val? No. Okay, that's what I thought.
No.
Val?
Oh, that's right. I know. Yeah, right. Sorry, I couldn't remember. Friend, the Healy one. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Rams.
What happened to you,
Number
Gertie?
No, nothing much. As you can see,
Lies.
the damage is much greater to my shop. It's such a blow. I don't know how I shall recover.
Hey, Lauren, you're a little quieter.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, that?
Volume just dropped dramatically on our end.
How's that? Is that better?
A little better, yeah.
Okay, good deal.
I can hear you now, so that's important.
That is a good thing. So Gertie says, oh no, the damage to my shop is obviously much more significant. How shall I ever recover?
Oh, yes. Attacking a poor old woman. I'm sure they think they have you completely down and out.
Oh, absolutely. You're a clever one. I do like you.
It's 'cause she likes
No, it's a political matter in the city, of course.
A political matter.
I was, unfortunately, under suspicion of charter infractions, and as you can see, the investigation is still ongoing about whether the goods in my shop are, in fact, matching the list on my charter.
Fascinating. I think we've heard something about this whenever we were in the catacombs with another individual who had a similar situation. It sounds like it's relatively common.
Also recently than other.
How recently?
Within the last few months or so, there's been a marked increase, I'm sure.
Fascinating.
Not nearly so. I'm sure they're amping up for something in particular. They've been, apparently, and this has been relatively recent news to me, they've been targeting shops like mine, of a particular arcane product, shall we say. Those of us who supply any arcane, even magically divine gifts or products to the city have been somewhat more targeted than otherwise would seem normal.
They, as in, this is the church, or?
Oh yes, they're the ones who control the charters of the businesses within the city.
I'm looking very curious.
Don't get stuck again.
This has been happening quite a bit at the site. Do you know where they're taking everything?
Oh, I'm sure it's all in some warehouse in some district somewhere. I've received a notice that my goods will be returned to me as soon as they pass the inspection, given some 4 to 6 week turnaround period.
I'm sure there's nothing going to happen with the inspection that would lead them to feeling like it is best that the goods would not return to you in the future.
Indeed. You're quick on the uptake. I'm certain that everything will be, of course, returned in pristine condition also, and nothing missing, everything well inventoried and able to be sold in perfect, like new condition.
There's coincidental timing or not, it seems to be approaching the Feast of Strengths. I keep hearing about things. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Case of course. Speaking of strength, where's the old Braun and old Braun, one of you three? Did he make it? No. I said old Braun and old Braun, not old Braun and old Brian.
That's all Braun plus separate. But Suryex he stayed at the what do you call it? The chapel, the church, the temple. There we go. That's the word. The temple. What is my accent? Suryex stayed at the temple after he went in to meet with the archpriest. Doran and I were escorted to a waiting chamber with some other individuals serving various nights. Had a brief conversation and came back here.
That's the gist of it.
Yep, I haven't seen Suryex since that point.
But he was alive.
He was alive.
I'm going to look at Ryan, smile, and say, see? It's 3 alive. Gertie's alive. This is turning into a rather pleasant evening.
He was alive, about to meet alone with the archpriest who just let in the Brotherhood, and I haven't seen or heard from him since.
The archpriest who also puts...
We'll count that as a half.
Well, yes, I don't even know if I would consider that in half, because that is the same archpriest that apparently put a death threat on a little girl, and is assumably somehow connected to the fiends that tried to steal her away.
No, I told your friend to have Suryex come and see me before he met with that individual.
Which friend would that be?
Interrupted.
Oh, your your healing friend. I do forget his name. I don't know if we were ever actually introduced.
That's all right. It's not important. I feel like he was not the best one to tell, but you had no idea that was the case, so that's not on you.
Hey, in my defense, we were interrupted before I got a chance.
Pretty sure that was probably priority number 1, but that's fine.
Man, everyone is sassy.
Well, as he did not come and see you, what's the most likely case?
Considering that the Bills have not wrong summoning us for an execution, things have gone better than I had feared.
Would they publicly execute the arbiter, or would they do it?
Of course they would, darling.
Oh no, if the arbiter had fallen to heresy and made it known publicly, of course they would.
But he
set an example of him.
People in power can create whatever story they need to in order to enact their own wishes.
The arbiter is a position of power. I don't know.
He is not a position of power, darling. He was appointed by someone of greater authority than them, and they can very easily destroy that.
That doesn't mean it's not a position of power.
Soyex is still young, and he was trained by Desmond himself, taught to believe and to act in certain ways. And if the little that I have seen is true, Soyex has grown and changed, some at least a little bit beyond what Desmond would have planned for.
That's concerning. What exactly were you hoping to discuss with him prior to his return?
Make a persuasion check.
I need you to roll high. That's not a good face. Nope.
That is a natural 20 for a 28. Thank you very much.
We are not worthy. We are not worthy.
28.
Lauren, thank you very much for the Christmas dice.
You're very welcome. I say that now, of course. Okay. You see Gertie's body language just soften. And for the first time, it seems like she's actually showing all the weight of her years. And she looks at you and she says, well, if nothing else, his poor mother, God rest her soul, had left a message for him I had hoped to deliver.
Oh!
I'm here now. Bye, guys.
Lauren, you're gonna make us cry.
I kind of thought you were dead.
If that's the case, then perhaps there's something still for you to tell him, not for us.
As I had said, I had wished him to be sent this way before he met with Desmond. There's other information I would wish to convey, some information I have gathered over the years. We shall see. We shall see if the opportunity becomes available.
I hate this so much.
I cast haste too soon.
I have a thought if you would take the suggestion, perhaps that message in particular, though, if it were pertinent to, or rather if it were useful to do so, maybe write it in a letter and we could deliver it to him expediently that way.
Unfortunately, it is not something that can be conveyed materially.
That's fair. I just trying to be helpful.
Of course. Very sweet.
Gertie, would you be comfortable providing some of the information you wish to give to Soyex to us? I do not know the situation he finds himself in, so perhaps if at least bits of it are distributed to a larger group, if someone comes across him, we can at least let him know the importance of connecting with you.
I suppose so. But, and you see her sort of look around at all of the other people who are still helping to set the shop back up. Perhaps now is not quite the best time. Tomorrow, you shall come have tea with me. We shall get this straightened out to the best of our ability.
That would be wise.
Very well, very well. You see her sort of gather herself back together. Now, are you going to require some housing overnight, or are you going to make your way back to certain safer areas?
I have a gift for a friend, so I do think we need to return to a safer place.
Are you familiar making your way through the paths you took previously?
We can probably find our way this time around.
And this late, it would not be uncommon for you to purchase morning supplies, candles, incense, the like, and take the front entrance if you wished. You'd be observed, but unremarkable. And significantly safer than traveling through the other path at night.
If that is what your wisdom and experience deems as being the best route, I would accept it.
Oh, I'm presenting you options. I'm sure I have no opinion on the matter. You know your capabilities better than I. Well, there's a vendor just down the way with candles and incense if you wish, or you can take the other path and make your way through. And that is at your discretion.
I imagine.
Safer is always best, especially
So that
these. So, we'll proceed along that way if you're all right with it, and make our way back to
Path of least resistance.
Right.
Beauty, do you need anything right now tonight?
If you could restore my youth, that would be lovely. Unfortunately, age cannot be undone, and I will accept the wisdom it has brought in return for the aching joints and sore back at this point.
Is there anyone in particular we can thank for the current situation with your shop and your back?
Well, if you wish to send your gratitude in particular to one, Watch Captain Brenton Ignatoris.
Watch Captain.
I'm sorry, what was that name?
Watch Captain Brenton Ignatoris.
I just look at Casator.
Sounds like a right douchebag.
Don't sound like a friendly individual.
Oh, I'm sure I couldn't speak against one of the church's most powerful enforcers in the city in such a demeaning way. Of course I couldn't.
I wouldn't stop you if you did.
Better person, me. Anyway.
How about would you stop me if I did?
Would you sing about it?
I might.
How about you
Well,
sing while we're walking?
Perhaps sing later, though.
I will sing like a canary.
I'm quite looking forward to this, actually.
I'm gonna
Yes.
call a recliner.
Right. Disappear. Bye.
I'm so glad everything is working according to plan. The church is just in such tip-top shape. I think, at least if there's any hope, most of my friends, aside from my cleric, who's got to be more than all right, I hope, maybe, You can heal things, right?
Darling, he got lost in the catacombs, just a few steps away from where we were
I'm
actually
trying to be
located.
positive. I'm trying so hard to be positive. It's been a fairly good week, and I think.
Let's be positive and walk. Let's walk with positivity then. Let's get a move on.
I'm very thankful that we have a friend in the Arbiter of Bahamut and not the Arbiter of Desmond.
Yes. Keeping positivity in mind, but possibly on the back burner momentarily. Realistically, if there's only 4 of us left at this point, which is
Actually,
at least possible, what exactly is the plan? I feel like we can't just abandon the city since it's kind of bigger than the city. This is just the heart of the issue.
Well, I think first things first is get some rest, and I think by that time, if our cleric is somewhere to be found, he will make himself known to us by that point.
I would certainly hope so.
He did leave a note at Gertie's with Gertie.
thank you. That's what I was gonna get on about. That's why I was like, wait, hold on.
We
Okay.
also can connect with Vanera's friend to see if maybe she can contact them.
Be careful throwing that name around too loudly, dear. There are still ears listening for it.
And we do
Who's
know
the
that
friend we're talking about?
our Arbiter is not dead yet.
Not dead yet.
That feels like an assumption.
Yes, but I feel like it's actually a way to balanced assumption. I would take those odds.
I would say it is a reasonable assumption. I just wouldn't guarantee it.
Well,
But we
I
can
don't
operate
guarantee
on
that
that.
we'll sleep through the night unimpeded. I have no guarantee that we won't die in our sleep at all. But
We have to wait and see what happens.
All right,
goodbye, y'all.
Val.
Okay, Val. On that note,
Remind me, I had forgotten you'd left a note at Gertie's, so remind me what that said.
To whichever finds this first, heading out of the city this evening. We'll try to make it back by morning. If not, let's all meet here 1 hour past dawn.
Okay.
Well,
So as y'all are preparing to leave, Gertie's like, oh, one more thing. Your friend did leave this for you. And you get the note that said that.
perfect. Well, we were going to do
depends
that.
on being alive.
So as y'all begin the trek back to the catacombs, Val, we will jump over to you. Because you had bedded down and up on your cot in the attic room, right?
Yep, with the Brotherhood sleeping right below me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So you go to sleep.
Chanting at night and like rituals and shit.
Mhm.
They're trying to get Tiamat summoned early.
What happens if you go back to your ritual spot and they follow you?
Oh no. Okay, I don't know anything.
Good news, you don't go back to your ritual spot, and you don't go back to the place where you cast Commune.
Okay.
Other news?
It's great.
You do wake up with your feet hurting.
Ow.
Your arms tired and sore, having moved the stone and unburied the sword. And it's glowing softly in your hands.
Wait, but I'm awake and I'm
You hear a
alive?
voice. You hear a voice, deep and resonant, saying,
No.
"Now that wasn't very nice. Now, look at the damage you've done. I'm going to have to heal this up right away, get rid of that pesky mortality. You've created so much work for me. Here, let's deal with this first." and you feel a sucking, siphoning sensation as your senses slowly dim. You feel cold.
Oh, God. Oh, this isn't good.
There's a voice echoing faintly around you. And it's weird, it's odd, because you're used to hearing your own voice in your ears, not externally. But you hear your voice speaking aloud now. It says, "Oh, that's so much better." As though you're stretching and giving a big sigh. You have some vague awareness of what's happening around you. Make a perception check for me.
Okay. 18?
18. No. You get the sensation of movement, of being lifted almost, and your point of view is odd. It's lower, much lower, like half the height that you would normally be perceiving from. And it's not even really sight, it's some sort of other sound and feel and vibration all combined to let you have some idea of what's happening. And your voice comes speaking again. Well, this is much better. I like this much better. You're gonna stay right there for a while, I think, and I will give this new puppet a spin. And then your vision goes dark, and you are lost in the cold and the dark for a time. And that is where we're going to end the episode.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Lauren, what did I say? Don't make it weird.
Case Torch conversation was necessary.
He's in the sword.
He is in / is the sword.
Oh my God.
No!
So, thank you for joining us for this adventure today. Thank you for coming along on this ride. Check out our social medias. Check out Take This. Find us again. Our YouTube is at The Keep RPG. We're streaming every Wednesday at twitch.tv/The Keep RPG at 6 p.m. Central Time. Come find us there as we continue on the adventure. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Holy crap.
Oh my...